Why did a simple desire to smoke turn into fatal burns for a man and an elderly woman? Why did the death of a 50-year-old Romanian in an empty field become one of the most absurd in history? And how did a single selfie with a cobra end in tragedy? These are the stories of the most absurd and tragic cases awarded the Darwin Award. Let's find out. Routine death, North Carolina, 2012. Gary Allen Benning, age 43, a mechanic. He worked part-time at an auto repair shop outside Shelby. That night, he stayed to help a friend fix an old pickup truck. The garage smelled of oil, gasoline, and warm metal. Tools were scattered across the workbench. In the corner, a portable heater hummed quietly. Gary reached for the wrong bottle. On the table stood a plastic juice container, filled not with juice, but gasoline used to clean carburetors. He took a sip, felt the burning instantly, and spat it out. The others laughed. He wiped his mouth with his sleeve, walked outside, and pulled out a cigarette. When he flicked the lighter, the gasoline vapors on his clothes ignited. A friend rushed over and tried to smother the flames with a jacket, but it was too late. The burns were severe. Gary died later that night. The fire department's report stated Maximum ignition caused by contact of gasoline vapors with open flame. Multiple safety violations observed. Berlin, Germany. 2018. Lucas Heine, 19 years old. He'd had an argument with his girlfriend earlier that day. They were walking on the frozen surface of a lake in the Treptow district, still talking, still angry. The ice was uneven, thin in places. Witnesses saw them approach a crack, then heard a brief scream. The ice gave way. The girl was pulled out almost immediately. Lucas wasn't. Rescuers found him 20 minutes later. No pulse. He was rushed to Charité Hospital and placed on life support. Doctors fought for nearly a month. On March 12, 2018, at 9:47 a.m., the family gave consent to disconnect him from the ventilator. Hospital record: brain death confirmed by medical board. Life support discontinued. Manchester, United Kingdom, 2018. Elizabeth Howell, age 72. She lived in a nursing home on the outskirts of the city. Before lunch, she asked an aide to wheel her outside for a smoke. She sat in her chair, an oxygen tube resting beneath her nose, connected to a small portable concentrator. The staff member stepped away to get tea. When Elizabeth lit her cigarette, the flame met the oxygen-rich air around her face. The flash lasted less than a second. The plastic tubing melted instantly. Neighbors heard a pop and ran over. The burns were fatal. 2 days later, the Elder Care Inspectorate released a report. Failure to supervise patient using oxygen therapy equipment. Staff retraining completed. Romania. 2018. Ion Negru, 50 years old, a farmer. After a rainstorm, he went out to check his tractor in the field. In the mud, he noticed a rusted metal cylinder, roughly half a meter long. He carried it to the shed, picked up a hammer and a saw. His wife was in the house. She heard a sharp crack like a gunshot. When she ran outside, the shed was gone, replaced by smoke and scattered planks. Local police later confirmed it was an unexploded artillery shell from World War II. Sapper unit report: explosion caused by manual interference with ordnance. No warning signage present in Discovery Zone, Kedah, Malaysia. 2018. Zaim Kosnan, age 35. Riding home one morning, he spotted a python, about 11 feet long, lying motionless near the road. He decided to capture it alive, to show his friends. He pinned the snake's head, lifted it, sat down on his moped, and laid the python across the handlebars. About a mile later, the snake began to move. It coiled around his torso, tightening. Zaim lost control of the moped and veered into a drainage ditch. Locals found him 20 minutes later. The python was still wrapped around his body. Police report: cause of death: asphyxiation due to compression of chest cavity. Classified as accidental death resulting from unsafe handling of wildlife. Boston, Massachusetts. 2018. Aaron DeBella, 27, a musician. That night, he was celebrating a friend's birthday. 6 of them were on a night ferry, drinking, filming short clips for social media. Music played from a speaker on deck. Aaron walked to the railing, said he wanted to do a shot upside down. He flipped himself over, hanging by his hands from the metal bar, and started doing push-ups. His feet slipped on the damp surface. He fell. The ferry stopped. Lifebuoys hit the water within seconds. But the darkness and current made recovery impossible. His body was found the next morning, 2 miles downstream. Coast Guard report: incident classified as accidental drowning, aggravated by intoxication and unsafe behavior on deck. Andhra Pradesh, India. 2018. Andhra Polam Reddy Manikanta Reddy, 23, a resident of Kandakur. During a local fair, he came across a snake charmer performing with a cobra about 5 feet long. Polam Reddy approached, turned on his phone camera, and asked to hold the snake for a selfie. The performer hesitated, then agreed. For a small fee, the young man draped the cobra around his neck. The crowd laughed, phones filming. When he reached to touch the snake's head, it struck, biting him in the neck. He stumbled back. The cobra fell to the ground. The charmer tried to suck out the venom, then called for help. The nearest hospital, in Ongol, was nearly 20 miles away. By the time they arrived, there was no breathing, no pulse. Police statement: cause of death: envenomation by cobra bite. Criminal case filed under animal protection and negligent homicide statutes. The man who couldn't beat an escalator. At 2 a.m. on December 18, 2018, at New Carrollton Station in Washington, D.C., the Metro maintenance crew found the body of a man that had arrived right at their feet. To solve the mystery of his death, they checked the security cameras. It turned out the man had tried to run up a very long escalator that was moving down. Near the top, he clearly began to feel unwell. Out of breath, he lost balance and fell all the way down. A well-deserved candidate for the Darwin Awards? A deadly struggle for ecology. In the summer of 2018, an elderly woman in Castle Hill, Australia, forgot whether she had left any bags or totes in her car trunk. In New South Wales, plastic shopping bags are banned, so customers must bring their own reusable ones. She stopped her car abruptly, jumped out, and ran to check the trunk, but forgot to put her Mazda CX-7 in park or engage the handbrake. 1,800 kilograms of Japanese metal rolled over its owner and continued down the hill. A ridiculous death, yet another worthy nomination for the Darwin Awards. John Allen Chau decided to bring to one of the most isolated tribes on Earth a pair of scissors, a soccer ball, and the word of Jesus. He actually wrote about it in a note he sent to his family in Vancouver. After that, John bribed a few local fishermen to secretly take him to one of the restricted islands in the Andaman archipelago. The Sentinelese, local islanders whose culture has remained almost unchanged for tens of thousands of years, have been extremely distrustful of outsiders ever since the brutal attempts of British colonization back in the 19th century. John met his death with dignity, never flinching even under a hail of arrows, and he managed to walk several more steps along the beach before collapsing lifeless to the ground. His body was dragged into the jungle by the islanders, a heroic yet absurd death. John Allen Chau earned an honorable place among the winners of the Darwin Awards.